Superstation TBS presents the Atlanta Braves, America's team. Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. By the official airline of the Atlanta Braves, Delta. We love to fly, and it shows. And by Turtle Wax, the world's largest selling car wax.
Hello again, everybody. Along with Billy Samples, Skip Carey welcoming you to another night of Atlanta Braves baseball from the ballpark. Beautiful night in Atlanta, and the Braves and Dodgers will meet in the second of a four-game series. Tim Leary will pitch for the Dodgers. He had a very mediocre year last year, but a sensational spring training. And Kevin Kaufman, the youngster, will try to be the stopper for the Atlanta Braves, who, as you know, I'm sure, have lost their first three games. Billy, 0-3. A lot of teams have started that way and come on to have very good seasons, and we hope that's the case with the Braves. But let's face it, they lost 92 games last year. They were 8-21 in spring training, and now they've lost their first three, and that's got to bother them because they're human beings, and nobody likes to lose.
Well, it's true. The signs aren't good, Skip. But the mood in the clubhouse is that 3 games does not make a season. And once they win the first one, I think they'll relax, they'll get it out of the way, and probably will play better.
Tell you what, losing is like cancer. It's one of those things that just, you do it long enough, you start looking over your shoulder expecting it to happen, and that's what causes slumps.
Well, that's what you have to fight. That feeling that we're just going to go out to the ballpark and play. You have to go out and try to win. And this is something the Braves will have to establish, especially now when winning is a little tougher.
Kaufman and Leary, the pitchers, and back with the starting lineups, the play-by-play story, and a special surprise right after this. We're going to have a crowd of about 10,000 or so tonight. 14 years ago tonight, it was packed in this ballpark. And you see the reason. Let's relive those moments 14 years ago tonight.
Balls it deep, deep. It is good. He did it. He did it. Henry Aaron is the all-time home run leader now. Rushing the list. He did it.
In the middle of that crowd, our own Craig Sager. Al Downing threw it. Henry Aaron hit it. Bill Buckner tried to catch it. And Tommy House, now the pitching coach at Texas, was the Braves reliever who caught it in the bullpen. And the amazing part of it was about a 45-degree night, Billy. That happened, I think it was the first inning. By the third, there wasn't anybody left in this ballpark. Of the 55,000, about 49,000 of them had gone home. You've got the lineups for tonight's game.
And it was a 3-1 count, Downing to Hank Aaron on that pitch. Well, if you were keeping score last night, keep the same lineup card and change the pitchers. The Dodgers will throw Sachs, Griffin, and Gibson at second base, shortstop, and left field. Guerrero, Marshall, and Davis at third base, first base, and right field. And Shelby, Socha, and Tim Leary, the center fielder, catcher, and pitcher, respectively. The Braves will have Deion James in center field, Damaso Garcia at second base, Gerald Perry at first, Dale Murphy in right field, Ken Griffey in left, Ozzie Virgil behind the plate, Ken Oberkfeld at third base, Andres Thomas at shortstop, and Kevin Kaufman will be doing the pitching. Gary Darling will be behind the plate, Jerry Davis at third base, Terry Tata at second base, and Bruce Fremming will be at first base.
And we're about ready to go. Kevin Kaufman completes his warm-up tosses. And the other sports news of the day, Larry Brown has elected to remain at the University of Kansas. He, too, has said no to the chance to coach at UCLA. He had been there once previously. And pro athletes, the superstars and pro athletes, will take heed to this item. A Chicago newspaper is reporting that Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls have reached agreement on a new contract that over the next 8 years would pay him $28 million. The contract, which includes performance incentives, would make Jordan the highest paid player in sports. He's averaging 34.6 points a game, leads the NBA in scoring. And if anybody's worth that kind of money, and you're worth it if somebody's willing to pay it to you. Michael Jordan would be the guy. That's almost up to the kind of money that announcers make. Here's Steve Sachs fouling away Kevin Kaufman's first pitch, and we're underway. It's 70 degrees at game time, and the wind is blowing from left to right yet again tonight.
When you're making that kind of money, it's nothing but a few zeros.
That's right, I guess. A ball and a strike to count. Sachs hitting .300 with a homer, 2 RBIs. One of those RBIs came last night.
Kevin Kaufman, good moving fastball and slider.
Hate to see him up there. He's more effective when he's down in the strike zone. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, his ball runs so much, and when you have a pitcher that has his ball run that much, one of the drawbacks is that you'll walk a lot of people.
Should be easy. Nice hop for Thomas. 1 down. Sachs hit it sharply, but he's retired. Alfredo Griffin will be the batter.
Excuse me, Skip, but on the positive side of that is that your ball is running so much it's hard to time as a hitter. Kaufman originally signed as an outfielder.
He's out of Austin, Texas, resides now in Victoria, and his high school teammate, second baseman Ronnie Gant, who is now at Richmond but is a very big part of the Atlanta Braves' future. Boy, he's quick, but he's up. 1 ball, no strikes. Griffin hitting .083, but he's driven in 2 runs. Hit that hard, but foul past first. If you're wondering, and I'm sure you are, the Atlanta Braves record for most losses at the start of the season is 7. Back in 1980, we got off to a 1-9 start that year.
And you came back to play .560 ball.
Did we? I don't think so. Curve inside. They all blend together after a while. Let's look that up. Hal Galima will look it up in the truck and tell us if he's working tonight, and tell us what the Braves record was in 1980.
We just needed an excuse to get Hal Galima some time.
Yeah, I got to get him going. Bounce to first, an easy play for Gerald Perry. 2 down. So 2 infield rollers. The record for most losses at a start of the season for anybody, and we're certainly not anywhere near. That is 9 by the Astros and Mets in the National League. The Braves were 81-80 in 1980. If they'd won those first 7, they would have been, I don't know. Here's Gibson, high and away. 1 ball, no strikes. Well, we thank the Oscar Mayer folks for their help in Dale Murphy poster night. 2 balls, no strikes. Come on, Sample, leave me alone. 2 out, nobody on. 3-0, fastball misses outside. Gibson had a good night here last night. He walked twice, he doubled, he was hit by a pitch. He was on base all night long. He hit the daylights out of that, but right at Garcia, and 3 infield grounders to get Kevin Kaufman through the first. We go to the bottom half. Dodgers nothing. Atlanta about to bat. There's a look at the Dodger defense. Boy, isn't that a nice logo we have up there on the screen? Same defense as last night, except that Santa Monica, California's Tim Leary will be on the mound. Last year he was 3-11. I said he had a mediocre year because I couldn't think of a word I could use on the air to describe how it really went for him. But this spring he was 3-0, an earned run average of 1.88, and was the best pitcher in the Dodger camp statistically. And that's the Tim Leary Tom Lasorda is hoping for. In 31 2/3 innings, he allowed just 23 hits, struck out 22, walked 6. Deion James hitting .231 leads it off against him.
Actually, mediocre means average to above average.
So I lied. Subpar. I should have said he had a subpar year last year. 1 ball, no strikes. He came over a year ago in the Greg Brock deal. Just a little low, 2-0 the count. Gary Darling is the home plate umpire.
Leary was originally in the Met organization.
Boy, Joe Torre, when he managed here. Fast strike right through that. Time and again, we'll talk about. It was either opening night or opening day or the second day of the season. The Mets were in Wrigley Field, and this kid was pitching. He had been sensational in the spring. Threw the fastball right by James, 2-2. And I think he got him out in the first man. And in the second inning, he threw a pitch and walked off the mound, and that was it. He hurt his arm, and getting his confidence back was a big problem for him. He just missed with that breaking ball. 3-2.
He has an outstanding curveball, and it seems as though the Dodgers, I believe in their system, they don't even teach the slider. It's fastball, curveball. And even the guys they trade for, like Brad Havens last night and Leary, and of course Sutton again, have outstanding curveballs.
The payoff pitch. Right back where it came from. 1 out. James is retired. Damaso Garcia will be the batter. Same two teams tomorrow night. Tom Glavine and Fernando Valenzuela will pitch. A battle of port ciders at 7:40 here. TV time 7:35. Damaso hitting .267. He's driven in a run. He has a double to his credit. Fast strike, 0-1. Billy Samples, Skip Carey with you from Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. Well, we wish a speedy recovery to Fred Clare, the executive vice president of the Dodgers. Had some back spasms and is in Piedmont Hospital, we understand. Sharply hit. Oh, a bad hop. Good play, Marshall. He hung with it, 2 down. So, Fred, if you're watching, and I'm sure you are, get well soon and come see us.
You see Damaso swing. Takes a bad hop. Marshall. Well, actually, a bad hop came face high. He's able to record the put out unassisted. Actually, Fred Clare will get a lot of credit if the Dodgers turn this around.
He gambled. He rolled the dice. Gerald Perry looks at a pitch low. 1 ball, no strikes. But you look at what the Dodgers did. They didn't really give up a whole lot of young talent. They gave up an outstanding pitcher in Bob Welch. So 2 very easy first innings. Neither team able to get the ball out of the infield. No hits, no runs, no errors, and obviously no one left. At the end of an inning, your score: Los Angeles and Atlanta 0-0. We go to the second inning. Pedro Guerrero will lead it up. Look at Fernando won't let Lasorda get on camera. If he could, Tommy would wave him. Guerrero, the hero last night, leads it off. Kevin Kaufman deals. Breaking ball had him bailing out. It's 0-1. Baltimore and Cleveland playing a 6:05 game tonight, and they're zipping right along after 6.5. Mark Thurmond against Scott Bales, scoreless. The pitch to Guerrero. Fastball low and away. A ball and a strike. National League Houston failed to score in the first at Cincinnati. Nolan Ryan against Tom Browning. Chicago failed to score in the first at Montreal. Jamie Moyer against Floyd Yeomans. The wind, the pitch. Let up curve. He had him off stride and he fouled it back. New York failed to score in the first at Philadelphia. Fernandez and Ruffin pitching that one. Pittsburgh at St. Louis. San Diego at San Francisco later on. Elsewhere in the American League, one game has begun other than the Baltimore-Cleveland contest. Guerrero stays alive. Juan Nieves against Dick Dodson. Milwaukee failed to score in the first at New York. Toronto plays at Minnesota. Seattle at Chicago. Detroit at Kansas City. Boston at Texas. Oakland at California later on. A ball and 2 strikes to Guerrero. Put some heat on that, but he missed low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Boy, I had to laugh today reading USA Today about the Minnesota Twins. Their home opener, a big promotion sponsored by a lawnmower company. And so, throwing out the first ball, opening night, or opening day, whatever it was in Minnesota, was the president of a lawnmower company, and there's not a blade of grass in that stadium. Look out. Fastball right under his chin. You know he wasn't throwing at him, but that'll give you pause, especially this time of night. It's a little tough to pick the ball up. 3-2. This will get your attention.
Just in case you had your lips out over there.
Guerrero takes a little time getting himself back together, and who can blame him? Lifetime Kaufman 0-1 against the Dodgers. Leary 2-0 against the Braves. He had a very aggressive cut, but he fouled it off. It's still 3-2. Guerrero, Marshall, and Davis here in the second.
Sometimes if a hitter's going poorly, that'll wake you up. That'll make you a little more intense. It'll remind you why you're in the batter's box. The good hitters.
Did he hold up? Yes. Guerrero took the curveball, and he's aboard. First base runner of the night. And Mike Marshall is the batter. Marshall hitting .273 with a couple of RBIs last night. He drove in 2 runs and was 3 out of 4 with a walk. Caught the corner at the letters. 0-1. Anybody ever throw at you that you were sure threw at deliberately tried to hit you?
Yes. Sometimes I play for keeps up here. I walked up to the plate and the opposing manager.
Would you care to elaborate?
I might.
Double play ball if Oberkfell can get there, and he does. 5, 4, 3. Good play by Obi. Good pivot by Damaso. 2 down.
Nice play, Oberfeld on his forehand to Garcia. This is a close play at first base. Marshall runs well. Not so sure about that one.
No argument from the Dodgers, which is sort of surprising.
Well, sometimes if you make a great play in the field, if it's bang bang, it's usually going to go with the defensive club.
Oberkfell made a fine play, got a good hop on that ball. If it stays down, it might get under the glove. Davis stands in, off to a slow start, batting 100. Curve inside, 1 ball, no strike. Well, go ahead with your War and Peace tale.
Well, I was walking up to the plate, looking in the opposing dugout, thinking that some retaliation might be in order, and the opposing manager was pointing at his head. I looked at him as if to say, "Ah, come on." And he told me, he said, somebody's got to pay. Of course, the guy in front of me swung at a 3-0 pitch with a 14-0 lead, our lead. I'm looking at him as if to say, are you trying to get me killed?
You can almost see the other guy's point. Well hit center field. Back goes James. He's out of room. It's off the wall, and Davis has a double. And nobody was covering second base for Atlanta. Not that it mattered. Davis double. Boy, he hit the daylights out of that. His first extra base hit of the year. And John Shelby will be the batter, and he's 0 for 9 on the year.
Fastball up, out over the plate. Davis has a big swing. He's a good fastball hitter from what I remember in the American League.
Joe Amalfitano coaches at third, Manny Mota at first. Well, did they get you, or did you get out of the way?
I ended up striking out. I remember that.
And we're probably very glad to head to the field.
I don't say I'd ever been intimidated.
Two and 0 the count. The double play certainly came in handy here. It would be at least runners second and third and 1 out had they not gotten the call at first base. Look out. 2-1. First thrown bat of 1988 in Atlanta.
And it wasn't by Dale.
That's right.
The postscript to that story is that our pitcher on the mound had the teammanship to protect his players. He ended up throwing at one of their players. I think it was against the Angels, and Texas and the Angels we'd have a series. We knew before the series started we were going to fight, so we got that out of the way early.
3 balls and a strike. Davis at second with 2 out in a scoreless game. We're in the 2nd inning. NBA basketball will follow at 10:35 tonight. Mike Scioscia bats with 2 on and 2 out. And this has not been a real good inning for Kevin Kaufman. A double and 2 walks. But no harm done yet, and Bruce Del Canton goes to the mound, and you're going to see a lot of that this year because of the young pitchers. If you've got Don Sutton out there, or Rick Mailer, or a guy who's been around 7 or 8 or 10 years, there's not much you can say to him that he doesn't already know. But with the young kids, the Braves are sort of force feeding. In one respect, it is like spring training because every time out is a teaching situation.
That's true. It's a great point. And as you said, you will see Bruce Del Canton out there a lot. And as I said last night, if nothing else, to settle the people down, to settle the pitchers down, to break the momentum a little bit when they're getting in trouble.
Breaking ball high and away. 1 ball, no strikes. This guy's a tough hitter, especially with men on base. And he's off to a great start, hitting .444.
And real tough against Atlanta. Hit .400 against them last year.
There's a good pitch. Off-speed curveball, evens it up. 1-1 the count. Bob Neal, Rick Barry will have that NBA game for you.
Are they going to work the whole game this time?
We shall see. That should get him out of the inning. Garcia fields and throws, and Kaufman gets through it all right. 1 hit, no runs, no errors, 2 left. The end of an inning and a half. From Atlanta, no score.
This telecast is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the Atlanta National League Baseball Club.
Oh.
And is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or the accounts of this game without the express written, Skip, consent of the Atlanta National League Baseball Club is prohibited.
Beautifully done. You saw Homer the Brave out in good old Raleigh Alley out in right center field. And Dale Murphy leads off the bottom of the 2nd. Murph off to a slow start, 182. No extra base hits. Tim Leary, boy, had a cut at a fastball, but fouled it back.
I think he'd like to see that one again.
0-1 the count. Just missed outside, a ball on a strike. He mentioned California and Texas used to fight all the time. When does Cincinnati come in here first? Friday the 22nd. At the knees on the outside edge, it's 1-2. Murphy, Griffey, and Virgil in the 2nd.
Sounds like a promo for the NHL during the 60s where they show Schultz and Magnuson fighting.
This year, college basketball was marred with a lot of fighting.
And that's a non-contact sport.
Probably one guy found out that their agent was paying the other kid what they were paying. Just kidding, of course. A ball and 2 strikes. Threw it right by it. If you can throw the fastball in that spot up and in, and you got some hair on it, as the players say, you can win a lot of games.
Here's the fastball you're talking about, Skip. Oh, with a little movement, too. You see it run in on Dale.
You don't see as much of that anymore as you did 20 years ago. Pitcher challenging the hitter up and in.
I think you're going to start to see a little more of it, though. It seems as though excuse me, Skip, it seems as though teams have gotten away with that, or gotten away from that. But now I think even with the knockdown rule, they're still going to start pitching inside. I believe you have to pitch inside to be successful. And that's not to hurt anybody. That's just a good moving fastball running in.
Yeah, the whole plate is the pitchers, they say. A ball and a strike to Griffey, who's hitting .200 in the young season. Starter to go. I think he foul tipped it. A ball and 2 strikes. Tomorrow is Fuji Photo Day, which is a tongue twister. Fans allowed onto the field 2 hours prior to the game for a photo session with the Braves.
It's probably the best time for the fans to get close to the players. Not just literally, but figuratively too.
Griffey is called out on a change. He thought it was inside.
Here's the outstanding curveball we talked about. Oh, no, I take that back. That's a fastball that ran in. It started at this. It was going to be on the inside part of the plate, and it stayed inside and ran back over the middle.
You can see Griffey was not too enthralled with the call by Gary Darling. Here's Ozzie Virgil.
You saw on the strikeout to Murphy how Leary's ball runs from, as you look in from your center field camera, from left to right. And that's another one. He throws it. It appears to be inside, a little bit under Griffey's elbows, and then it runs back right out over the plate. You can freeze a lot of hitters, especially with 2 strikes on a pitch like that.
The 0-1 to the Oz. Fastball, fly ball, well hit center field. But Shelby has room shy of the track, and the inning is over. So the Braves go quickly in the second. 1, 2, 3. Leary has set down 6 men in a row, and after 2, Dodgers and Braves, 0-0. We go to the 3rd inning. Tim Leary, Steve Sachs, and Alfredo Griffin will be the first 3 for the Dodgers in a scoreless game. And standing in with the play-by-play story, here once again, Billy Sample.
Thanks, Skip. Tim Leary, the pitcher, and then back to the top of the order with Sachs and Griffin to lead off the Dodger 3rd. Kevin Kaufman has had a couple of base runners, but he pitched out of a little of a jam in the 2nd inning, getting a double play. As I said earlier, he's got a good moving fastball, a good running fastball, and a curveball, and will occasionally take something off his fastball.
Billy, time permitting, following the game and prior to the NBA game, we invite the fans to join Craig Sager for the Inside Baseball Report. That will be between games tonight, time permitting.
As Kaufman misses with a curveball outside.
So the 3 Stooges get another night off.
The 1-0. Ground ball, weak ground ball down the 3rd base line. And Kaufman gives way to Oberkfell, and neither one can make a play. And Tim Leary has an infield hit.
I think Obi probably told him, if you come over here, pick up the ball. If not, get out of my way.
That's
and
what
again, inexperience.
That's what they'll tell you. And sometimes when you haven't worked a long time with someone, now if Mailer had that play, or maybe Zane Smith, and they have worked with Oberkfell more, and you establish your grounds. And if you're a good fielding 3rd baseman like Oberkfell is, then a lot of times you will just tell a pitcher, get out of your way. Nevertheless, it's a hit, and that brings up Steve Sachs. He ducks from a curveball high. Steve grounded to Andres Thomas at shortstop in the 1st inning. And Kaufman again is high. As Ozzie Virgil
Tries to coax him into throwing something a little bit lower. When your ball moves as much as Kaufman's does, then you can put people on base because it's really hard. You can throw a lot of ground ball out as he catches the outside corner with that selection. Are we going to be on Craig Sager's show, Skip?
No.
They still want the ratings, I understand. The 2-1 to Sachs. Foul at the plate. Count evens at 2. Sachs will be followed by Alfredo Griffin. Sachs, who has done some broadcasting in his career, as we look at on-deck batter Alfredo Griffin, switch hitter. He's been in some TV shows. I remember he was in Square Pegs and Just Men. The 2-2 curveball freezes him.
He was looking for the fastball, it appeared. And he got the deuce.
Oh, look at him buckle. That's a good curveball. When you see major league hitters who have seen thousands of curveballs buckle on a curveball like that, and there are some people that can throw them, and it's an encouraging sign to have a youngster have that kind of stuff that can buckle a right-handed hitter with a curveball.
What shows has Sachs been in?
Square Pegs. Alfredo Griffin takes a fastball way outside. Square Pegs. It used to be on. It was a half-hour sitcom that was on about 3 or 4 years ago for us couch potatoes. And Just Men. It was a Betty White hosted daytime game show.
In other words, he's been on 2, and they've both gone down the chute, right? Better sign another contract, Steve.
The 1-0 to Griffin. And he catches across the letters. The count evens at 1. He has also broadcast a few things. I remember an arm wrestling tournament that he was a broadcaster. I think he has.
But there were some big ratings on that.
The 1-1. Fly ball to right field. Dale Murphy's under it. 2 away. And with 2 down, I'll bring up Kirk Gibson.
That's one of those. ESPN runs those babies around 3 in the morning.
And I've stayed up to watch myself on them.
Have you been in that arm wrestling competition?
That's right.
I guess that's why you're so slow to reach for your check. For the check, you're muscled up.
And that one bounces away. A curveball bounces through Ozzy's legs. And Lurie will go to second base. That'll be scored as a wild pitch.
Seriously, Dave Martinez has just hit a grand slam for the Cubbies in the second. And they lead Montreal 5-1 behind Jamie Moyer. Floyd Yeoman's pitching for the Expos, but maybe not for long.
Martinez got off to a good start here. Now with a runner in scoring position, Gibson is ahead of the count 1-0. They sit down the right field line. That's at least 2. Gibson's speed. Leary will score, and the Dodgers go ahead in the top of the third. 1-0. It seems to be, Skip, the little things last couple of nights. Zane got called with the balk. It was a disputed call, but pushed runners in the scoring position, and now the wild pitch.
They hit batsmen last night when Ossenmacher got Gibson, the left-hand hitter.
That's true.
Setting up Guerrero's.
He tries to come inside, and Gibson gets the he gets the bat out, the barrel of the bat out very quickly. And with 2 away and another runner in scoring position, Pete Guerrero. Pedro takes a fastball inside. And those 2 RBIs were last night's game winners. Gibson takes for third. And it's no contest.
That's one of those spots where you have to be sure, because you don't want to be thrown out at third with 2 out in the inning, but he made that easily. He got a running start, as you see. Got rid of the hat.
He never looks pretty, but he gets there in a hurry.
The 2-0. 3-0. As Pedro looks down to third base coach Joey Amalfitano. Sometimes that left hand is a signal in a situation when it's 3-0.
I think he was hitting, but his pitch was nowhere near.
He did look a little disappointed when he didn't get a chance to throw the barrel of the bat on him. I think you're right. They'll bring up Mike Marshall, who hit .328 last year with runners in scoring position. And he had an RBI, had 2 RBIs last night. He had the 5th RBI that put the game away. Gets a fastball inside. Gibson at third. Guerrero on the other corner. 2 outs in the Dodger third. They have 1 run across. Ground ball. Thomas to Garcia, and the Dodgers have been retired, but not before they push across 1 run on 2 hits. And after 2.5, Dodgers 1, Braves nothing.
Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you in part by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you.
Tim Leary in his 3rd inning. He has pitched hitless ball and will face the bottom of the Braves order. Ken Oberkfell, Andres Thomas, and the pitcher Kevin Kaufman. On the season, OB is 1 for 10. That a big one, a 3-run homer. So fouls that one back. Just misses outside with a fastball. Leary from Santa Monica, California. Misses again with a fastball outside. There's a look at Andres Thomas, who also has a home run in this early season. And Leary tries with that outside corner and hits it this time to count evens at 2.
Well, he's a much more confident looking pitcher than he was a year ago.
Ground ball up the middle. Griffin is there. He'll make the play. 1 away. We talk about the Dodger defense and how many errors they've been known to make, and they've made errors in years where they still won the division. But Griffin will really solidify that defense up the middle. As I said last night, he's the type of player that'll play every day. Those Dale Murphy types you've got to drag out of the lineup. Here's Andres Thomas. On the year, Andres is 3 for 13 with a homer. As he fouls that one back, that homer is only RBI so far. I'd like to see Andres get out of the 8th spot. I know he would like to hit a little higher. And if he starts swinging the bat well, maybe he can move up some.
Boy, nobody likes to hit 8th.
And he misses that curveball in the outside corner. We were talking about it earlier in one of the broadcasts, how Glenn Hubbard hit 8th a lot. And when I was here in '86, I thought he did a magnificent job in the 8th spot with a lot of clutch RBIs, especially considering that he's hitting in front of the pitcher.
He ought to be about ready to go out in Oakland, I think.
Fastball just misses. Yes, he had his orbit bone broken around his eye. The 1-2. Base hit left field. That's the way you get out of the 8th spot. And I'll bring up pitcher Kevin Kaufman. Be interesting to see whether down by run manager Chuck Tanner will have Kaufman sacrificing or swinging away. The way Guerrero's moving in on the grass, you've got the feeling he thinks he's going to be bunting. And he does, but the ball gets away from Scioscia, and Andrus gets down to second base. That'll be scored as a pass ball.
You see this happen quite often. A catcher's so intent on getting out to handle the bunt that he forgets about his #1 responsibility, which is catching the ball. Doesn't happen often to that guy. He's a good receiver.
It's a good point. He's one of the best. Now how do you play this one? And Kaufman was swinging. He took a strike inside. He takes a look at third base coach Willie Stargell. The 1-1 to Kaufman. Ground ball to the right side. Sachs over the Marshall, and Kaufman, with one out, still advances the runner. And they're 2 away. They'll bring the top of the Brave batting order, and Deion James. Deion so far this season 3 for 14. Deion hit .312 last year, which was 5th in the National League. And some impressive names among those. Gwynn, Guerrero hit 2nd last year in the league. Raines was 3rd. As Deion takes the ball outside. John Kruk from San Diego was 4th, and then was Deion James at .312. There were 10 National League hitters that hit over 300 or hit 300 or better last year. The 1-0. Curveball. It's over for a strike. Damaso Garcia on deck. Deion originally from Sacramento, California, and was originally in the Milwaukee Brewer chain. Again, Leary throws wide of Scioscia, and that nearly got away as Guerrero goes and has a short conversation with Leary. The outfield plays James a little bit to the left side. Got a gap form in right center field if he can hit that. The infield, we mentioned it last night. They think if he's going to hit anything on the ground, it won't be in the air. Well, it won't be, but to the left side. He takes a strike again on the outside corner. They've gone away, away, away. It'll be interesting to see where Scioscia sets up here. Goes away again and misses. The count evens at 2. I beg your pardon, the count is full. Andrus Thomas on third base, 2 outs in the Braves half of the third, trailing 1-0. Swing and a miss, strike 3. And the Braves strand a runner at third base. And after 3 innings, Dodgers 1, Braves nothing.
We go to the top half of the 4th inning. Dodgers leading at 1-0. Tim Leary, who was sensational for the Dodgers all spring, is doing it so far tonight, holding the Braves to just 1 hit. I'm Pete Van Weren along with Ernie Johnson as we go to the top half of the 4th, and Mike Davis leads things off for the Dodgers. Davis had a double back in the 2nd inning. 1 of 3 hits off of Kevin Kaufman. Two and 0 the count. it's 2-1. I'm sure Skip and Billy talked about Kevin Kaufman having control difficulties from time to time, but the Braves feel his control will improve as he grows a little older. He hasn't pitched that long, just a couple of games in high school. Really professionally is the only time he's devoted himself to the profession of being a pitcher. 2-2 the count now. John Shelby will follow, then Mike Scioscia. And the count full now, 3-2. There's the payoff pitch to Davis, and he grounds one. It is a fair ball, and Davis is going to reach safely. Fleming and Perry got tangled up there. And the ball was just fair.
Let's see what happened. I think Perry had it in his glove for a moment. It's right over the bag. It's going to be a base hit. Just right off the edge of his glove.
It'll be scored, a base hit for Davis. And it brings up John Shelby, who walked his first time. 4 Dodger hits now off of Kaufman. Shelby still looking for his first hit of the season. Was an early arrival at the ballpark today. He and 3 other Dodgers all came out here, were working on one specific thing. They were working on taking pitches that were away from them and going the opposite way with them. Joe Ferguson and Tommy Lasorda throwing BP and throwing nothing but pitches away from the hitters. You heard me right. Tommy Lasorda pitches BP every day. 61 years old. He said he never misses a day. He said, I'm not just talking about the baseball seasons. I'm talking about all year. He said the only day I take off is Christmas.
Dodgers probably work out more than any other ball club on the road. They're out here just about every day on the road.
Davis chased back. One and one the count on Shelby. Who's going to handle this one? Garcia, it appears. Now you saw in that pitch, that was a pitch that was down and away. And during that extra batting practice today, Shelby was trying to concentrate on going the opposite way, but he tried to yank that one a little bit, and the result, an infield pop-up.
It was away. It was away, but it was up, and he tried to pull it.
That's what they were trying to get him not to do during that extra batting practice today. Here's Scioscia, who grounded out to second his first time. Nothing and one the count on Mike Scioscia. Scioscia set a goal for himself this year. He wants to be the first Dodger catcher since Roy Campanella to hit 300. He's come close a couple of times in his career with the Dodgers. There's a drive deep to left center field, but Deion James had him played perfectly. Davis scampers back to first, 2 men out.
He's different from most catchers. Most of your catchers hit the long ball. They don't have a high batting average as such, but they knock in some runs and hit a lot of homers. In fact, catchers are supposed to be RBI men. Unless you're a talented catcher and you throw everybody out and you call a good game, then you can get by with batting at a low average and not have too much of a batting average.
Now Tim Leary, who handles the bat well, but this one is going to be out number 3 as Thomas, who had a little trouble with it there for a moment, recovered and goes to Garcia to get the force. on Mike Davis. That's it for the Dodgers. They strand another runner. They've left 5 on over the first 4 innings. They go to the bottom of the 4th. Still 1-0.
Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you in part by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you.
In the bottom of the 4th, it'll be Damaso Garcia, Gerald Perry, and Dale Murphy to up against Tim Leary with the Dodgers on top 1-0. Braves trying to get the bats to come to life after scoring 9 runs opening night. Braves were shut out by Greg Maddux, scored just twice last night in the opening game of this Dodgers series. And it's not going to get any easier because Fernando Valenzuela pitches tomorrow and Orel Hershiser on Sunday afternoon.
Hershiser's had a sty and a little eye problem, but they don't feel he'll miss a turn. He wears contact lenses.
That may be the only difference. If he can't wear the contacts, he may have to wear the glasses out there.
We talked about RBIs for a catcher. Most general managers feel if they were going to lay out a team, two of the outfielders would be RBI men, at least 2. Sometimes you get by with a light outfielder because he runs well, covers a lot of ground, say maybe in center field. First and third, you want RBI men for sure. And the catcher doesn't have to be quite as heavy with the RBIs as someone else, but the shortstop and second baseman, they can be light. But doesn't always work out that way, but that's the way they approach the game.
Garcia grounded out to first in the first. 0-1 the count. Tim Leary, who nailed down this 4th starting spot with some superb work in spring training, had 22 strikeouts in spring training, more than any other National League pitcher anywhere. Steve Sachs will throw out Garcia, and there's 1 away in the 4th inning. Yeah, the only time, Ernie, you see a team vary from that is when, for example, the Baltimore Orioles come up with a Cal Ripken. You get a guy like that to play shortstop that can hit 25 home runs. Then you can take a position like first or third or catch or one of those outfield spots and go with something a little different if you want to.
Or if you've got an old Yankee team. In fact, when Billy Martin played on the Yankees, he was a second baseman. And he didn't need to get many RBIs because everybody on that ball club was knocking in runs. And he was a good fielder.
Gerald Perry grounding one to Marshall, almost threw it away there. He didn't lead his pitcher very well with that toss, but Marshall was able to throw out Perry nonetheless.
But I'll tell you, this is the way you're supposed to do it. You get it to the pitcher as soon as you can so he doesn't have to look for the bag. And he fired it. He was a little bit behind it. Nice play by Leary. But the proper way to do it is to give it to him as soon as possible, so all he has to do is catch it. Now he looks for the bag.
So 2 down quickly here in the 4th inning, and Dale Murphy, who struck out his first time. In fact, he has struck out 5 of those 12 at bats so far this year. Takes one low and away. 1-0 Dodgers. We're in the bottom half of the 4th. And it's even now. 1 ball, 1 strike. The only Atlanta hit, a 3rd inning single by Andres Thomas. Sachs had him played perfectly. A 1-2-3 inning, the 3rd out of 4 for Tim Leary. We go to the 5th inning. It's still 1-0 Dodgers. Steve Sachs will lead off here in the 5th inning. It's 1-0 Dodgers. Pete Van Weren and Ernie Johnson with you from Atlanta. Game 2 of this 4-game series. The Braves trying to get in the win column for the first time this year. Sachs is 0 for 2. He's grounded out to short and struck out. Steve's brother Dave, a former teammate in Los Angeles, recently traded again. He went to the Red Sox, then to the Texas Rangers. A couple of days ago, the Rangers traded Dave Sachs to the Pittsburgh Pirates, who sent him to their AAA club in Buffalo. Two 2-0 the count on Steve Sachs. goes to 3-0. Kaufman has walked 3 in the game. He has struck out 1. Three balls and a strike. Alfredo Griffin will follow, then Kirk Gibson. Gibson has driven in the game's only run. Oberkfell throws out sacks, 1 down. Now Alfredo Griffin. It was grounded out to first and flying to right. I think what's been the most frustrating part for the Braves in this early going, they scored 9 runs opening night, lost the game. Zane Smith goes 7 innings in game 2, gives up just 1 run. They're 0-2. Pete Smith, 7 innings last night, gives up just 2 runs. Braves are 0-3. So you have 1 good night with the bats and 2 good starting pitching efforts, and you haven't won a game yet. 0-1 on Alfredo Griffin.
Tom Glavine gets a chance tomorrow night. He's the other kid in the starting rotation.
Breaking ball off the glove of Garcia. Let's see if Thomas can recover. He does. Little ricochet job there. Goes 4-6-3 to retire Griffin.
Well, I've seen these guys practice this play time and time again.
Yeah.
Every infield practice, they've practiced this. The ball is hit toward Damaso. Off his glove, he just a carom shot. He says, come on, Andres. Say one thing for Thomas, being very alert on that play, getting over just to make sure if anything happens, I'll be hanging around here. And a big break for the Braves.
So 2 are out, and here's Kirk Gibson, who was grounded out to second and doubled in that run in the 3rd. Takes a breaking ball for a strike, 0-1. Dodgers have a run on 4 hits. The Braves have been shut out by Tim Leary thus far on just 1 hit. 0-2, the count on Kirk Gibson. The toughest part for Kirk Gibson and Mike Davis and players like that, you change leagues, you see a whole new group of pitchers everywhere you go the first time around. Some will adjust easily, others it'll take some time for.
Well, pitchers love to see new hitters too, because by the time they get you figured out, maybe they're 0 for 4.
That takes care of Gibson. Kevin Kaufman recording his 2nd strikeout. Dodgers are out 1-2-3, and we go to the bottom half of the 5th inning with no change in our score.
National League, Ryan against Browning, no score. Houston and Cincinnati. We're going to start calling it Olympic Homer Dome. Martinez a grand slam for the Cubs. They lead 6-1. New York at Philadelphia 2-1. Carter another home run for the New York Mets. Dave Winfield homered in the American League. He hit it with his book. His first of the year. Yankees leading Milwaukee 2-1.
Ken Griffey leading off here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. See, they have another problem up at Yankee Stadium. They moved the visitors' bullpen this year, and the guys out in the visiting bullpen can't see the game. Griffey hits a fly ball to left. He struck out his first time, and he's going to be retired here as Gibson grabs it. 1 down. Minnesota Twins were into Yankee Stadium to open the season. They filed a grievance. The only way that bullpen coach Rick Stelmasak could see the game was to stand on a table and peek over the top of the fence.
There's some games for the bullpen you don't want to see.
Yeah. Here's Ozzie Virgil. He flied to center his first time. Breaking ball misses, ball 1. Larry's been sharp. The only hit, the Andres Thomas single in the 3rd. He hasn't walked anybody. He has recorded 3 strikeouts. He's gotten 8 outs on ground balls, 8 of the 13.
And I don't want to take anything away from Leary, but when you're not hitting anybody out there, it looks like Dazzy Vance or Dizzy Dean. And right now, the Braves looking for some hits They have one tonight.
The 1-0. Shallow into left field is going to drop for a base hit. So really the only two guys who've been swinging the bat consistently well in the early going for the Braves have accounted for the two hits, Ozzie Virgil and Andres Thomas. They each have a hit in each of the first 4 games for Atlanta. And Ken Oberkfell, who grounded out to short his first time up, will step in. The count to Oberkfell. One nothing Dodgers. We're in the bottom half of the 5th inning. The fastball missing. 1-1. Falling behind 2-1. There you see the offensive drought the Braves have fallen into after that 9-run opening night performance. The 2-1 to Obi is ripped into right field and a fall for a base hit. Virgil will take the turn at second, head for third. Throw comes back to the shortstop Griffin. The Braves have runners at the corners with one down.
Obi stung this one. A low pitch and he golfed it in the right. And Virgil made third easily. Davis had to come over to field it. He fired toward third, but it was cut off.
So 3 Atlanta hits now off of Leary. Oberkfell at first, Virgil now at third for Andres Thomas, who singled to left in the 3rd inning. Infield double play depth. Outfield bunch towards center as Thomas fouls the first pitch back out of play. 0-1. There's your infield. You see in the outfield Gibson playing well off the line. Shelby shaded a little toward left center. Davis about straight away and right.
You can walk up there figuring Leary's going to give you something to hit. He hasn't walked anybody. He'll give you something to swing at.
And the count 0-2 now, and Andres Thomas. The pitcher Kevin Kaufman is on deck.
And with that in mind, that count, no balls, 2 strikes, Scioscia walked halfway out there to remind him, hey, look, it's 0-2. You're way ahead. And don't get careless.
Over at third, Virgil. The runner at first is Ken Oberkfell. You might see Leary try a breaking ball down and away here. They threw him a fastball down and away and missed. Ball 1, 1-2.
If you could do it every time on an 0-2 pitch, you throw it about 2 inches outside around the knees. Just enough to maybe make him go after it.
Will it get through? Yes, base hit left field. Virgil scores. We've got a tie ball game. Andres Thomas drives in his 2nd run of the year, and the Braves have tied it up here 1-1.
Just out of the reach of Guerrero. It was a good pitch to swing at. Right over the plate. Guerrero moving to his left. Just missed it, and we got a new game, 1-1.
So 3 successive singles by Virgil, Oberkfell, and Thomas get the Braves back into the game and get the Dodger bullpen going. Brad Havens is the left-hander getting up down there. I believe Brian Holton's going to join him, the right-hander. He is. And Kevin Kaufman will check with third base coach Willie Stargell.
Probably bunt here. Got runners first and second, one down. And if he does, he wants Guerrero to field it, keep away from the force at third.
Kaufman grounded out to second his first time. Nothing and one.
Guerrero was hanging back. He went over and had a little talk with Leary. He might have told Leary to charge the third base foul line. And Marshall's taking care of first. And we'll try for that force.
Now the 0-1. Got the bunt down. Leary, I would have had a play at third, I think. He looked toward home. Mike Scioscia hollered out, go to first, I guessed. But there was definitely a play at third if they went that way. Braves will take the result. Runners second and third on the sacrifice by Kaufman.
Oh, sure. He should have gone to third. Scioscia was yelling third. And Guerrero, just as they had talked about, was back at third. Right there. See, Oberkfell? And in fact, the way Leary looked at Scioscia was almost though he couldn't hear him. But I'm sure Scioscia said third.
So the Braves now with runners second and third and 2 outs for Deion James, who's due. He's 0 for 2 in this game. Bounced to the pitcher and struck out. Just 1 hit in his last 13 trips. You don't see Deion fall into lengthy slumps very often. At least he didn't last year. Very consistent hitter from start to finish a year ago. Larry behind in the count now, 2-0. We are tied at 1. The hits are even at 4. Now it's 3-0 on Deion James. First 3-0 count that Leary's had in the ballgame.
Scioscia just went out to tell him to stretch, not wind up, and also make sure you stop, or a block will cost you a run.
James swinging on 3-0. Griffin can't get it, and it's going to score 2. Braves lead 3-1. Deion James with his first 2 RBIs of the year.
Chuck Tanner said go ahead and swing on a 3-0, and it's right up the middle. Leary took a swipe backhanded at it, but missed it. Then 2-run score.
So the Braves have put together 4 singles here in the bottom half of the 5th inning to grab a 3-1 lead. Damaso Garcia steps in. He has grounded out twice, once to first, once to second. He's hitless in his last 9 at bats, so he's due.
Well, he's reached the crossroads. He has to get Damaso out of there, or he's gone.
Straightaway center field should be an easy play for John Shelby. That ends the bottom half of the 5th inning. But the Braves plate 3 and take the lead as we head for the 6th. We go to the top half of the 6th inning. Guerrero, Marshall, and Davis do up against Kevin Kaufman. To tell you about it, once again, here's Ernie.
Thank you, Professor. The big part of their order. But Kaufman now with a 2-run lead delivers a curve all the way to the screen. Guerrero's been up twice and walked both times. He was almost hit right in a coconut the first time up. Boy, that ball was zipping in on him. The 1-0. Outside, 2-0. Kevin Kaufman can't let his control desert him now. He's got himself a 3-1 game. We're in the 6th. Three and 0. Houston comes in on Monday. They're here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday an off day. Then the Braves go to Los Angeles. Look out. Boy, that is wild, wild. That is wild, wild. A 3-0 pitch almost hit him.
And that's twice tonight that Guerrero has had to get out of the way of a pitch like that. This one even closer than the first time. Just rode right in on him. Bruce Delcanton's going to come out and try to settle down Kevin Kaufman. There's a second look at it. It's the 3rd time tonight that Guerrero's walked, and the 4th walk overall for Kaufman.
Delcanton out there for the simple reason when the count is 3-0, it's got to be a lot closer than that. And I don't mean to Guerrero. Here's Marshall with a tying run at the plate now. This is Shamrock High School night with the Braves, and we hope the youngsters from Shamrock High have had a good time. The crowd is, oh, I guess 10,000, 10 to 12 in there. Not quite as cool as last night. And they all have their Oscar Mayer, Dale Murphy poster, and it's a beauty. A little high, that's 5 straight out of the strike zone.
That's going to get the bullpen up for Atlanta.
Kaufman last year struck out 150 but walked 130 at Greenville. Chuck Carey gets up in the bullpen. Line toward left center, is going to fall for a base hit. 2 on and nobody out. Belcher warming up for the Dodgers. Chuck Carey for Atlanta. Davis a batter. He is 2 for 2 with a double and a single. Doesn't seem possible. 14 years since Hank Aaron hit that big home run against Al Downing. Over 50,000 in the stands. It was a freezing night, and after he hit the home run, about 20,000 stayed. And the pitch. Boy, he's wild. 1-0. Now the 1-0. Line toward right. Murphy coming on. Did he catch it? No. He's throwing toward second. If they go to third, Guerrero might have been out, but the throw was knocked down. Murphy had it in his glove, I believe, for a second. And then it squirted loose. The bases are loaded.
Murph comes very close to making a sliding catch out here. Well, it never really got to the glove. It hit the grass and caromed off his glove. Although if you make a slide like that and come up with the ball in your glove, sometimes the umpire doesn't quite see the fact that the ball hit the ground before it hit the glove. And we've seen outs called on very close situations like that.
John Shelby with the bases loaded and nobody out. Kevin Kaufman at the crossroads. High pop foul, going to make the seats over behind third. The Dodgers with a half dozen hits. Davis now with 3. Shelby's walked and popped to second. Thomas and Garcia back at double play depth. And an 0-1 pitch. Bounce toward Perry. He's got it. He's going to get 1 at second. That's all. A run scores. That's all they could get. Fielder's choice, a force play. 3-6. First baseman to the shortstop. And an RBI for Shelby. He's still looking for his first hit of the year.
Gerald makes a good play here. That ball headed toward the hole between Perry and Garcia. And Gerald just does get to it. His only play was on to second. No chance for a double play. Ball wasn't hit that sharply.
Now Scioscia, with runners on the corners, he is 0 for 2. Last night he had a base hit. Thomas and Garcia still back at double play depth. Curveball is in there. 0-1. I think Scioscia thought that was high. One man out. Charlie Palaio joins Carey in the bullpen. Kaufman pitching. Fly ball left. This game is going to be tied. Griffey with the catch. The throw will come to second. And we've got a new game. Sacrifice fly RBI for Scioscia. 3-3. We've got a pinch hitter, Danny Heap, for Leary. Danny Heap's been around. He's been with the Houston Astros, New York Mets. He has no batting average this year. He's only been up once.
He was the other player out early today working on going the opposite way on pitches away from him.
He's got some power, and the pitch is high. 3-3. The Braves over the years perhaps have had more close games with the Dodgers than any other team in the National League. Two and all. He'll be guessing. Shelby at first, and the pitch is fouled away. Leary threw 69 pitches, going 5 innings, allowing 5 hits, 3 runs earned, no walks, had 3 strikeouts. He can't lose a game. He could win it if they put another run on the board, but Kevin Kaufman has his own thoughts on that. The curve is low. 2-1.
Zerny.
Thank you, Professor. The big part of their order. But Kaufman now with a 2-run lead delivers a curve all the way to the screen. Guerrero's been up twice and walked both times. He was almost hit right in a coconut the first time up. Boy, that ball was zipping in on him. The 1-0. Outside, 2-0. Kevin Kaufman can't let his control desert him now. He's got himself a 3-1 game. We're in the 6th. Three and 0. Houston comes in on Monday. They're here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday an off day. Then the Braves go to Los Angeles. Look out. Boy, that is wild, wild. That is wild, wild. A 3-0 pitch almost hit him.
And that's twice tonight that Guerrero has had to get out of the way of a pitch like that. This one even closer than the first time. Just rode right in on him. Bruce Del Canton's going to come out and try to settle down Kevin Kaufman. There's a second look at it. It's the 3rd time tonight that Guerrero's walked, and the 4th walk overall for Kaufman.
Del Canton out there for the simple reason when the count is 3-0, it's got to be a lot closer than that. And I don't mean to Guerrero. Here's Marshall with a tying run at the plate now. This is Shamrock High School night with the Braves, and we hope the youngsters from Shamrock High have had a good time. The crowd is oh, I guess 10,000, 10 to 12 in there. Not quite as cool as last night. And they all have their Oscar Mayer Dale Murphy poster, and it's a beauty. A little high. That's 5 straight out of the strike zone.
That's going to get the bullpen up for Atlanta.
Kaufman last year struck out 150 but walked 130 at Greenville. Chuck Carey gets up in the bullpen. Line toward left center, is going to fall for a base hit. 2 on and nobody out. Belcher warming up for the Dodgers. Chuck Carey for Atlanta. Davis a batter. He is 2 for 2 with a double and a single. Doesn't seem possible. 14 years since Hank Aaron hit that big home run against Al Downing. Over 50,000 in the stands. It was a freezing night, and after he hit the home run, about 20,000 stayed. And the pitch. Boy, he's wild. 1-0. Now the 1-0. Line toward right. Murphy coming on. Did he catch it? No. He's throwing toward second. If they go to third, Guerrero might have been out, but the throw was knocked down. Murphy had it in his glove, I believe, for a second. And then it squirted loose. The bases are loaded.
Murph comes very close to making a sliding catch out here. Well, it never really got to the glove. It hit the grass and caromed off his glove. Although if you make a slide like that and come up with the ball in your glove, sometimes the umpire doesn't quite see the fact that the ball hit the ground before it hit the glove. And we've seen outs called on very close situations like that.
John Shelby with the bases loaded and nobody out. Kevin Kaufman at the crossroads. High pop foul, going to make the seats over behind third. The Dodgers with a half dozen hits. Davis now with 3. Shelby's walked and popped to second. Thomas and Garcia back at double play depth. And an 0-1 pitch. Bounce toward Perry. He's got it. He's going to get 1 at second. That's all. A run scores. That's all they could get. Fielder's choice, a force play. 3-6. First baseman to the shortstop. And an RBI for Shelby. He's still looking for his first hit of the year.
Gerald makes a good play here. That ball headed toward the hole between Perry and Garcia. And Gerald just does get to it. His only play was on to second. No chance for a double play. Ball wasn't hit that sharply.
Now Scioscia, with runners on the corners, he is 0 for 2. Last night he had a base hit. Thomas and Garcia still back at double play depth. Curveball is in there. 0-1. I think Scioscia thought that was high. One man out. Charlie Palaio joins Carey in the bullpen. Kaufman pitching. Fly ball left. This game is going to be tied. Griffey with the catch. The throw will come to second. And we've got a new game. Sacrifice fly RBI for Scioscia. 3-3. We've got a pinch hitter, Danny Heap, for Leary. Danny Heap's been around. He's been with the Houston Astros, New York Mets. He has no batting average this year. He's only been up once.
He was the other player out early today working on going the opposite way on pitches away from him.
He's got some power, and the pitch is high. 3-3. The Braves over the years perhaps have had more close games with the Dodgers than any other team in the National League. Two and all. He'll be guessing. Shelby at first, and the pitch is fouled away. Leary threw 69 pitches, going 5 innings, allowing 5 hits, 3 runs earned, no walks, had 3 strikeouts. He can't lose a game. He could win it if they put another run on the board, but Kevin Kaufman has his own thoughts on that. The curve is low. 2-1. Make it 3-1. Shelby may go. He's no slowpoke. He's going. Ball 4. Well, we'll see if Chuck Tanner sticks with the kid. They got Steve Sachs coming up with a go-ahead run at second. That's a 5th walk by Kevin Kaufman.
Not to say that this is influencing Chuck Tanner's decision right now, but Chuck was saying before the game tonight that when your bullpen's not going good, you sometimes stay with your starter maybe 1 hitter longer than you normally would.
The curve is outside. Sachs is 0 for 3. Lifetime batting average over 300 against the Braves. He almost got hit in the shoulder. 2-0.
I'll tell you what, if you're a Dodger hitter right now, you're hanging loose up there. There've been some pitches up and in on Guerrero, up and in on Sachs.
And they're not intentional.
No, he's just all over the place in this inning.
They're the runners. Shelby's at second. Heap is at first. Paid attendance 10,723. High ball 3. Griffin is on deck. Way outside, ball 4. Tanner has to make a move now, I would think. And here he comes. Chuck Carey is going to be called upon, and while he walks in, we'll break for this commercial. Chuck Carey wants to redeem himself for opening night when he was touched up for 3 runs in an inning. Let's see if he can do it here tonight. He's got the bases loaded with 2 outs. Griffin's a batter. He's a switch hitter, so he'll hit righty. They've got Shelby at third, Heap at second, and Sachs at first. We're all tied 3-3. Pete Van Weeren and Ernie Johnson with you from Atlanta.
The
Bullpen woes. I guess that's a good description.
Bullpen has worked 12 innings, given up 11 runs and 14 hits.
Pitches outside, 1-0. One thing about working out of the bullpen, you do have a chance to redeem yourself faster than when you're a starter. Many times it's the next day. You have a bad day today and you want in the next day. The manager puts you in. You get them out and the previous day is forgiven. Starters have to wait 4 or 5 days. The 1-1. Beautiful pitch. A fastball that was sinking outside. 1-2. There are the runners. Shelby's at third. Heap is at second and Sachs is at first. And a 1-2 pitch is forthcoming. 2 outs. Time call by Griffin. The hitters can only wait so long. It's almost like putting a golf ball. You line it up. If you're not comfortable, get out. The hitters the same way. They'll pump that bat, but only so long. Line toward right center field. In for a base hit. 1 in, 2 in, 3 in. And to third base is Griffin with a triple and 3 RBI. Chuck Carey did not redeem himself. It is now a 6-3 game.
And once again, the bullpen failing to get out of a big inning situation here. That ball just scoots all the way to the wall, clears the bases. Griffin winds up driving in 3. He's got 5 RBIs in the season now. And the Dodgers have that big inning put together. 5 runs are in the inning.
And it hurts Kaufman because all those runs belong to him. Strike call. This is the 9th batter in the inning. Kirk Gibson. Strike. 0-2. A 3-run triple by Alfredo Gibson. Griffin. Gibson is batting. I'm shell shocked too. This is a 9th hitter. 5 runs have scored. Strike 3. It remains to be seen whether they stole the Saddlebred. We're going to the bottom of the 6th, down by 3. Must be some New Orleans Saints here. And it's only April 8th. Tim Belcher is a pitcher. Perry will lead it off. Belcher in his 2nd game of the year. ERA is 0. Well, those runs belong to Tim Leary. Belcher trying to save it for him. All the runs were charged to Kevin Kaufman. 5 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 6 runs earned, 6 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Braves trail by 3, but they have 4 wraps left. Bunted foul. In other games, Cincinnati 2, Houston nothing, bottom of the 7th. Browning is spinning that shutout, and Ryan pitching for the Astros. Chicago 6, Montreal 1. They're in the bottom of the 6th. Martinez a grand slam for the Cubs. Moyer against Yeomans, relieved by St. Clair in the 6th. And the pitch. Bouncing ball towards Sachs. That's 1 down. Perry now 0 for 3. The Phillies lead the Mets by a score of 4-1 in the 6th. Carter a home run. New York Parrish has hit a home run for the Phillies. Ruffin beating Fernandez. Pittsburgh 2, St. Louis 1 in the 3rd. Fisher against Cox. Bonilla home run Pirates. San Diego at San Francisco later. Cleveland beat Baltimore 3-0. Bayos over Thurman. The Yankees winning again. Murphy takes a strike. New York 4, Milwaukee 1. Bottom of the 5th. Winfield and Pagliarulo home runs. New York. A ball. Dotson pitching that game for the Yankees. They got him from the White Sox. Nieves and Jones have pitched for Milwaukee. Minnesota 2, Toronto nothing in the 4th. Steve against Blyleven. Gladden home run, Minnesota. Murphy waves at a breaking ball. Seattle at Chicago. Later, Detroit at Kansas City, no score after 2. The Red Sox lead Texas 1-0. You're up to date. Oakland plays at California, of course, later on. And we'll keep you up to date all summer long because we know there's interest in all games. There's a foul away on a check swing. Murphy sitting on home run number 310 career-wise as Mailer starts loosening up. Murphy 1 for 4 last night. He's looking for home run number 1 of 88. Just off the corner. 2-2. Well, let's see. Mailer just taking a little bit to the mitt, or is he going to get in this game?
I tell you, the way the Braves have been going through pitchers out of the bullpen, I think he's warming up to potentially come in the game.
The curve is in the dirt. Griffey's on deck.
Maybe just to give the Braves an inning here or 2. This would be his normal day to throw between starts. Used to see a lot of that.
Oh, yeah. Fly ball left center. He got under it, and it'll be out number 2. Shelby made the catch, and now Ken Griffey, who was 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a fly ball to left.
Tim Belcher, he was the other candidate for the starting rotation for the Dodgers. In fact, he's listed by Tommy Lasorda right now as his 5th starter if he decides to go to a 5-man rotation later. Tim Leary beat out Belcher late in spring training.
Belcher's from Ohio. 6'3", 210. Down low. Last year with Tacoma, 9-11 with the Dodgers, 4-2. Pitched very well with the Dodgers. ERA 2.38. Sachs has another chance. And the Braves go quietly in the bottom half of the 6th, in contrast to the noisy top half. We go to the 7th, 6-3 Dodgers.
Atlanta Braves baseball is brought to you in part by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you.
We're going to the top of the 7th. Skip Carey and Ernie Johnson with you now. It's a 6-3 game. Dodgers, they have 7 hits and the Braves have 5. The Dodgers got 5 runs in the 6th inning. Pedro Guerrero will lead it off. He's been up 3 times. He's been walked 3 times and almost hit twice. He'll be followed by Mike Marshall and then Mike Davis. Mailer continues to throw in the bullpen. The pitchers do 4th in the next inning, and he might be in this ball game.
Isn't he pitching Sunday, or isn't he penciled in for Sunday?
I believe he was, but we were wondering whether they might use him tonight. Maybe they've made a change.
Move everybody up one, maybe.
Yeah.
And pitch. I don't know. Well, we'll see.
The 0-1. Outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yes, they hit him down to pitch against Hershiser on Mailer against Hershiser Sunday. Tomorrow night, Tom Glavine against Fernando Valenzuela. Two balls and a strike. High. The hero of the moment for the Dodgers is Alfredo Griffin. He got a 2-out triple that cleaned him. Fouled away, 3-2. The Dodgers sent 9 to the plate in the 6th inning. Up this way, out of play. Well, I don't know if the Dodgers are going to have enough starting pitching, Skip, but I'll tell you, they strengthened the middle of their order, didn't they?
Oh, they really have.
They've got some hitters. High fly, short right. Who? Perry? Just. It was a battle, but Gerald hung on for the catch.
I think he thought it was going to be easier than it was. Murphy could have made the play, I think, but he stopped, and Gerald just did get to that ball. If he doesn't, it's a double for Guerrero.
Marshall's hit into a double play, grounded out and singled in the 6th. Kevin Kaufman pitched all right until that 6th inning. He became wild. Looked like he became a little arm weary too, because his pitches were sailing all over the place. There's a ground to short. But I would say in his first outing he did all right. 2 away.
You know, when you look at all the preseason baseball predictions, the Braves picked 5th or 6th. And one reason is the young pitchers, because you know, even though they have good stuff, they are in a learning process. They haven't learned it all yet. And so they're going to have nights like this one.
Yeah, this is a tough place to learn.
Yeah. They're very unforgiving up here.
But the Braves have no other choice. Their young pitchers are either here or in AAA. They're going and if some of them don't do very well, and someone down at AAA level is pitching well, you're going to see an exchange. But they've decided to go this way. I, for one, don't mind the way they're going. If everyone's given a chance, not only pitchers, but some of the youngsters that are playing other positions. Because we weren't getting anywhere the other way, down low.
And the other theory is, if you're not going to win, what's the difference whether you finish 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th? You know, if you don't have a chance to win it, you might as well build for the future. If you got a chance to win it, you got to try to win it.
Other teams have gone through it. The Phillies went through it. The Mets went through it. And it's kind of hard to swallow sometime for a fan. But the Braves made that decision, and that's the way they're going to go. 3-2. Inside ball 4.
You know, I was thinking about that today, Ernie. You're right. It is tough for the fans, tough for the announcers. It's tough for the guys who sell the peanuts. But the people it's really tough on when things go like they've gone for the Braves throughout spring training and early this year are the players themselves. Nobody likes to lose, and they walk into the supermarket or to a friend's house or in to have a Budweiser, and everybody's, what's wrong with you guys? It's got to really wear on you. Despite the money and all that, nobody likes to lose.
It's a pride factor. There's nothing like being on the winner. You walk through the hotel lobby, and here they come like in '82, and more autograph seekers, more people saying nice going. And then when you're in 5th or 6th, that's not part of the scene.
When you're winning, the jokes are funnier, the steaks are better, and the beer's a little colder.
And the broadcasters are better. Isn't it amazing?
It is, isn't it?
On the way. 2-1. Shelby, a switch hitter. As Watt popped the second, got an RBI and a ground out. Davis, who's had 3 hits, is at first. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good fastball. Strikeout. They strand 1. We go to the bottom half of the lucky 7th. 6-3 Dodgers. We're going to the bottom of the 7th. And Mailer is not throwing anymore in the bullpen. Bruce Sutter would be the next pitcher. The pitcher is batting 4th. Be a good game for Sutter to get in and get his work. Ozzie Virgil. Virgil is 1 for 2 and a single. He's off to a good start. Came in batting .417. Oberkfell on deck. Shade over 10,000 here tonight. They were standing, now settling back to see if anything can happen. 10,723 paid. Down low. The Braves had a 3-run 5th. Deion James knocked in 2 runs. Andres Thomas knocked in 1. They had 4 hits in the inning. But then the Dodgers came roaring back. Fly ball right. Should be handled by Mike Davis. That's 1 away. Now Ken Oberkfell, who is 1 for 2. Well, we want to wish Joe Hellier all the best. Joe has been working in our ticket vault for many, many years. He's now taken a job with the Boston Red Sox. He's going to be the ticket manager at Boston. You can go home. Joe is from Massachusetts. He used to work for the Red Sox years ago, and we wish him all the best. Obi takes a strike. Obi takes another strike. 2 fastballs. You can talk to most newspaper people too, Skip. If you're fighting for the pennant, it's one thing. If you're Obi was ticked by that fastball, he's all right. If you're not playing well, instead of getting a smile, you get a snarl when you ask for a story.
Well, let's see if the hit batsman can get something started here for Atlanta.
Andres Thomas, 2 for 2. Knocked in a run in the 5th. He's hit safely in each game the Braves have played this year. Oberkfell at first. And Albert Hall comes to the on-deck circle. Hall will bat for Carey. And then we'll see Sutter in the top of the 8th. Beauty on a curve. There's number 1. And an 0-1 pitch is swung on and missed. 0-2. Mike Schmidt is closing in on Jimmy Fox. I used to call Fox XX. Schmidt with 532 career homers. He's only 2 away from Jimmy Fox for a tie for 8th place. Schmidt just keeps on keeping on, doesn't he? 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Last I heard, he still wants to be a manager when it's either now or when his career comes to a close.
Strike on the outside corner.
You see Socha set up out there. Too close to take. Looked like it might have been a little bit outside, but Gary Darling with the liberal strike zone pumped him out of it.
Yeah, you wouldn't think Mike Schmidt, with no financial worries, would want to get back into it as a manager, but many times these players have certain thoughts about managing, and when they're playing, they say, if I was manager, here's what I'd do. They like to put those thoughts to work and try it anyway.
That may be the best way to manage, is if you don't need the money, because you never manage scared.
Yeah. I don't know if it's true or not, but they said that Mr. Wrigley never wanted Ernie Banks to manage because he was afraid that the treatment that he would get if they didn't win. He was such a fine person, he didn't want to see him booed. Well, every manager has to go through that.
That's part of the...
Yeah.
I guess the only manager who's ever been totally secure was Connie Mack, because he owned the team.
Yeah, that's a good way to manage. By the club. Connie Mack was one of the few, it might have been Bert Schotten of the Dodgers did it, to manage in a suit, street clothes. And people say, why do these, and sometimes not in shape, managers wear the uniform? And can you see a manager out there arguing with the umpire in a suit?
Oh, they
street
could
clothes?
wear a leisure suit.
Yeah.
A Nehru jacket or something.
Yeah. Leisure suit with wide lapels.
Yeah. Basketball coaches are the ones that ought to wear sweatsuits or something.
Yeah.
They ruin their clothes with all the kneeling on the floor and nervous perspiration.
Well, there's always a contest for the best dressed basketball coach. Oh, that was close. We're really zipping along here tonight, Killer. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, Mike Fratello wins that in the 5, 7, and 9 department.
That might reach, and it does. Base hit left. Albert Hall with a pinch hit single. Brings a tying run to the plate. And the person of Deion James. One more hit would make this interesting. It is 6-3. Garcia comes to the on-deck circle. Suter will be the next pitcher. Well, that's an amazing story. Few people gave Suter a chance of maybe even pitching again. And very few said, well, if he does, it won't be opening day or around opening day. And he's already been in a ball game. 1-0. Two balls and no strikes. James knocked in 2 runs in the 5th. Rally, rally. That's what they're yelling. Down low, 3-0. Last time up, it was a 3-0 pitch that he hit for a base hit.
Jesse Orozco, the left-hander. Jay Howell, the right-hander, in the bullpen for the Dodgers.
Those are the 2 that they obtained in the offseason, saying, that's my righty and lefty late. Remains to be seen whether they can do it. They've got good credentials. Runners first and second. Now there's runners first, second, and third on that walk. Put James at first. Move Hall to second. Move Oberkfell to third and bring up Garcia. And we're going to have a meeting of the minds. Ron Peranowski. Boy, he was a good pitcher in his day. Peranowski was a left-handed sinker ball pitcher, one of the best relief pitchers in the league. In fact, he pitched in both leagues. That is the first walk issued by Dodger pitching tonight. Garcia is 0 for 3. Darling out to move him along. Actually, that meeting was just to give those guys a little bit more time. The bullpen, they just started throwing.
So Mike Scioscia said, "Okay, darling," and trotted back behind home plate.
I'll bet he did. Well, he could say that with a mask on. Garcia, the Braves need a 2-out hit. Throw to first. Safe. He just made it back. Oh, what a call by Scioscia. And what a throw.
Marshall was breaking as the pitch was delivered, which makes it sort of surprising it was a strike. And Hall just did get back. If the throw's on the other side, they had an outside chance to nip him.
Foul away. No balls and 2 strikes. So quickly, Belcher out in front. And the 0-2. Call strike 3 outside corner. Garcia caught looking, and the Braves strand 3 big ones. We go to the 8th, 6-3 Dodgers. All right, now in the 9th inning in the Houston-Cincinnati game, Davis has hit a home run with 1 aboard in the 9th. So they have tied that game. Chicago-Montreal, it is 6-2. Galarraga and Raines home runs Montreal. They're trying to come back. Martinez a home run for Chicago, a grand slam. In the 8th inning, the Phillies and the New York Mets are 4-1. You see Pittsburgh, St. Louis, San Diego, and San Francisco. American League, final 3-0 Cleveland. Yankees winning again 5-3. Toronto trailing Minnesota 2-1. No score at Chicago. 2-0 Tigers over Kansas City. And the Red Sox leading Texas 1-0 in the 3rd. Later, Oakland at California. We're going to the 8th. Here's Skip.
Okay, Ernie, thank you. And Mike Scioscia greets Bruce Sutter, and the pitch is a fastball low. 1 ball, no strikes. Sutter is 35 years old, out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Makes his home now in Kennesaw, Georgia. There's a strike. It's 1-1. A total of 286 major league saves, 26 of them in Atlanta. There was the split finger, and he fouled it off weakly. A ball and 2 strikes. 6-3 our score. Dodgers on top. Alfredo Griffin's 3-run 2-out triple, the big blow in the game. Well, Glenn Davis is amazing. He couldn't get arrested in spring training, and now all he does is hit a homer.
It was his
3rd, wasn't it?
3rd.
Scioscia stays alive. It's still 1-2. Glenn Diamond, our official greeter and producer here at the ballpark tonight. Tom Smith, our director. Social chairman and technical director, Rick Rayford. Grounded foul past first. Our associate director, Ken Nolan. Graphics being handled by Laurie Burns and Hal Galima. And Scott Stevenson is our booth assistant. And we thank them all. Some more than others. A ball and 2 strikes, the count.
We could call Glenn the Maitre D', but we call him Casper, so we can't give him too many nicknames.
No, he's confused enough as it is. The 1-2. Got him with a high fastball. Sutter strikes out Scioscia, 1 away. He doesn't strike out often.
Sutter said his arm feels fine, but he just doesn't have the control that he'd like. And he strikes out Scioscia, who doesn't strike out that often, really. Very seldom does Scioscia strike out.
Tim Belcher is the batter, and he taps one to short. That should be easy. 2 out. And the top of the order, and Steve Sachs will hit. He's 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. What really hurt about that 5-run inning was that the Dodgers got the 5 runs on just 3 hits. They had 3 walks, and they got 3 of the runs after 2 were out.
And to really benefit with Bruce Sutter, you've got to have the lead in the 8th or 9th inning. That's where he's the most effective. That's where he gets his saves. Although the Braves showed a sign of coming back, they got those 3 runs. The bats became a little hotter, but they've still got to do some more hitting.
Looks like Charlie Puleo will get up and throw in the Atlanta bullpen. And Sutter will, it would appear, work only the 1 inning. A ball and a strike, the count. In the bottom half of the 8th inning, the Braves will send Perry, Murphy, and Griffey to the plate, the heart of the order. Pop foul down the left side and out of play. Still 1-2. A night game again tomorrow at 7:40. Fernando Valenzuela and Tommy Glavine will pitch it. And then on Sunday, it's scheduled to be Oral Hershiser against Rick Mahler. We'll find out tomorrow or after the game tonight if that's still the case. Mahler threw for quite some time in the bullpen tonight. The 1-2 hit hard but foul past third base coach Joe Amalfitano.
I think Mahler will pitch. I just feel that he told Bruce Del Canton, I like to throw a little bit today, and then I'll be off tomorrow and pitch on Sunday.
For a while there, it looked like he was getting ready to come in, but I guess not. They fooled us again. Just missed outside. 2-2. Was Sutter the first pitcher to pitch all the time off the stretch? Was he the one that started all this?
He was one of the first to do it.
He was.
Yeah.
The 2-2 misses outside. Full count now. 3-2. Fly ball, short left center field. Dion James comes on a very easy inning for Bruce Sutter. He gets him 1, 2, 3. Go to the bottom of the 8th. Let's win the game. Your score: Dodgers 6, Braves 3. Hi. What's your sign? Well, Gerald Perry leads off the bottom of the 8th. Tim Belcher into the wide. Curve hit hard, 1 hop though, right at Griffin. 1 pitch, 1 out. We're probably reading too much into this, but between innings the organist played the theme from the movie MASH, and the title of that song happens to be "Suicide is Painless." I don't know if she was making an editorial comment or
She was
playing the song.
She was looking over in this direction.
She might know something. Here's Murph. Boy, had a good cut again, but fouled it off. He has swung the bat better tonight, I think, than he has in any of the previous games. Puleo working hard in the bullpen. He will apparently come on to pitch the 9th. Fastball hit hard. They got him played perfectly. Low throw, but Marshall dug it out nicely. 2 down. And Ken Griffey is the batter. 2 sharply hit ground balls, but right at him in this inning. Sutter pitched very well tonight. Got him 1, 2, 3 after being roughed up opening night. Griffey is struck out, fly to left, bounced to second, and looks at a curved strike. Two out, nobody aboard. A ball and a strike, the count. Starter to go. He held up in time. They asked Jerry Davis for help. 2 balls and a strike. Glavin and Valenzuela tomorrow night. Then Hershiser and Mailer on Sunday. Then Houston comes to call. Fast strike at the knees, 2-2 to Griffey. Downstairs, full count. Ozzie Virgil would be next. The payoff. Foul tipped into a strikeout, and the inning is over, and Belcher breezes through the 8th, recording his 3rd strikeout. Braves have one more chance. After 8, it's Dodgers 6. Braves 3.
Following the game, join Craig Sager for the Inside Baseball Report, followed by NBA basketball. Phoenix Suns visit the Golden State Warriors. Bob Neal and Rick Barry will handle it. It's all tonight right here on the Superstation, WTBS.
And the arch villain as far as the Braves fans, Alfredo Griffin, will lead it off against the new Atlanta pitcher, Charlie Puleo. Suter worked an inning, got him 1-2-3, struck out 1. And now Puleo is on. He's the 4th Atlanta pitcher of the night.
Tomorrow night, Skip, Fuji Photo Day. The fans can go on the field an hour and a half before a game and get pictures of the players. That's tomorrow night. The Dodgers and the Braves.
Your promo says an hour and a half before the game. Griffin bunts, but right back to the mound. Throw to Perry in time. My promo says 2 hours before the game, so come an hour and 45 minutes before the game.
About an hour and 45. Drop by, get a photo. Then on Sunday, Good Sense Heat Pump Magnetic Schedules.
Those are those things you whack up on your refrigerator.
Yeah. Let's make that photo day tomorrow 2 hours before, okay?
Whatever you say.
Okay.
Gibson hits it up the chute. Oberkfell back. Thomas calls him off. 2 out. This keeps up, we may make the fans go through a metal detector on their way to the field. Pedro Guerrero, the batter. Pedro has had a busy night. He's walked 3 times. He's dodged about 3 pitches at his noggin. And he's popped to first. That's up and in. 1 ball, no strikes. Fly ball, right field, easy play, Murphy. Well, let's see if the Braves can give them a finish. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Dodgers 6, Atlanta 3. Dodgers make a defensive change. Jeff Hamilton in to play 3rd base for Los Angeles. They have Jay Howell and Jesse Orozco in their bullpen just in case. Dodgers lead 6-3, and Ozzie Virgil will lead it off. Virgil is 1 for 3, singled and scored in the 5th. They're in the 10th in Cincinnati. Houston and the Reds tied 2-2. Chicago now 6-4 over Montreal after 8. Low and away to Virgil. Philadelphia 5-1 over the Mets after 8. Lance Parrish. Gary Carter have homered. Carter now has 3. He's off to a great start. Bobby Bonilla's hit his 3rd homer for the Pirates. They lead the Cardinals 3-1 after 4.5. Low again. 2-0. San Diego at San Francisco later. Scott Bales, a 3-hitter. Cleveland beat Baltimore 3-0. Yankees 5-3 over Milwaukee. That's after 6. The 2-0. Right through there, 2-1. Minnesota, Toronto 2-2 after 5.5. Seattle 1-0 over Chicago after 2.5. Jim Presley has a homer. Detroit 2-1 over Kansas City after 4. Now the 2-1 to Virgil. Missed high and away. It's 3-1. Detroit 2-1 over Kansas City after 4. Boston leads Texas 2-0 after 4. Oakland, California later. That's all the other baseball. Here we got a 3-1 count on Ozzie Virgil, leading off the 9th with the Braves down by 3. Hot shot right at Hamilton. Throws across, 1 down. I'm a little surprised. I know that normally you give a power hitter the hit privilege 3-1, but I'd have made him throw the 2 strikes. You got to have base running. Here's Ken Oberkfell. He was hit by a pitch his last time. He's 1 for 2, singled and scored, and that 5th inning bounced to short on his other plate appearance. Andres Thomas moves on deck. Fastball corked into center, but Shelby is waiting. And Andres Thomas is the last hope for the Braves. Tim Belcher has done a whale of a job here. He's allowed just 1 hit. He's struck out 3 in 3 2/3 innings of work, trying to attain the save for the Tim Leary win. One ball, no strikes. Ted Simmons has moved on deck for Atlanta. Fly ball twisting down the right side. Davis on the run. He's there, and the Braves have lost their first 4 games of the year. Great relief pitching by Tim Belcher, and the Dodgers beat Atlanta 6-3. We'll have the totals and highlights right after this. Dodgers take the lead in the series 2-0. Ernie Johnson has the totals.
Los Angeles 6 runs, 7 hits and no errors. They left 7 on base. The Braves 3 runs, 6 hits and no errors. They stranded 5. The winner Leary 1-0. The loser Kaufman 0-1. Belcher gets his first save, and he pitched a beauty. 4 innings, allowing only 1 hit and no runs. The game winner goes to Griffin. He tripled with 2 outs and the bases loaded in the big inning for the Dodgers, which was the 6th they scored 5 times. Final score, Dodgers 6 and the Braves 3.
And the young left-hander Tom Glavine will take to the mound tomorrow, and he'll try to be the stopper for the Atlanta team. His pitching opponent, another left-hander, the veteran Fernando Valenzuela. Don't forget Craig Sager standing by with his Inside Baseball report. That comes along next on TBS and will be followed by NBA basketball as the Phoenix Suns visit the Golden State Warriors. Bob Neal and Rick Barry will have it for you. It's all coming up tonight on the Superstation. Dodgers 6, Braves 3 from the stadium for Ernie Johnson, Pete Van Wieren, Billy Sample, Skip Carey. So long, everybody.
Atlanta Braves baseball has been brought to you by Budweiser.